Time to talk hockey on Breakfast Television. Only 2 more sleeps until the start of the NHL regular season. And, of course, our Calgary Flames, Ryan Pinder, Pat Steinberg, joining us from our sister radio station, Sportsnet 960 The Fan. Pinder and Steinberg on Monday to Friday afternoons from 2 till 6.
Yeah, baby.
Pinder and Steinberg. Did
How
you
are
guys
ya?
arm wrestle for the name rights? Who's first, who's second? Or?
Pat says it's alphabetical,
Oh,
which technically is correct.
I also say it the other way, and it sounds stupid.
Steinberg and Pinder?
It doesn't sound as good.
Yeah, maybe it's
The
the syllable.
Steinberg.
Maybe it's
Sounds
the
like a-
syllable thing, right? Pinder,
Yeah.
1 syllable, 2 syllable.
It sounds dumb the other way.
We're digressing here. Let's talk hockey. Okay, and so our Calgary Flames. I got to ask you guys right off the top, honest, like full disclosure. Are they in the playoffs this year?
I say yes.
Okay.
They're one of the 8 best teams in the Western Conference.
Okay.
So for me, that gets them in. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. There's a lot of things that need to go their way, and there's a couple question marks I know that we both have about the team. But I say they're in. I think they're one of the 8 best teams in the West.
Ryan?
It's so hard. So just real quick, last year, Colorado was coming off one of the worst seasons we've seen in a decade. They get in. Vegas was supposed to be horrible and selling at the deadline. They win the division.
Yeah.
New Jersey was thought to be the worst in the East. They get in. There was, I think, 6 teams that got in that weren't in the year before. And so they're definitely good enough to get in, but you're a Mike Smith injury or maybe a Mark Giordano injury.
Sure.
And that's the same for any team. You
Of
take
course,
away
right?
most teams' number one either goaltender or impact player. So absolutely it's probable that it could happen, but it's just as probable that, they're a couple points out on the last week. And that's what's going to make it a great season because I don't think there's much of a sure thing in the Pacific. Like San Jose is really good, and then everyone else is like, well, there's reasons to think yes and no, and then there's Vancouver at the bottom.
Well, and the one thing about the goaltending, he's right. You lose your goaltender on any team, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
But
right.
with Mike Smith, last 3 years, he's missed significant time with injury. And when you think about that, and you think about the fact that he's a 36-year-old goaltender, I think the worries or the question marks a little bit bigger when it comes to Smith than perhaps with other starters in the NHL.
Okay.
And if you had a backup that you knew exactly what they were, you could rest some of those concerns.
You don't think David Riddick is?
I think he might be fine.
Oh, okay.
But we don't
know, right?
So up until Mike Smith's injury February 11th last year, looked like one of the better backups in the league statistically. Mike Smith gets hurt, wasn't good. So was it the pressure of the situation? Was it the mental space of being a starter versus a backup? Or is it a guy that just was on a hot run and then had a cool run and the truth somewhere in the middle? We don't know.
Okay.
So
let's talk
more
about
layers in that there.
Let's talk about some new faces. You talked about Vegas. James Neal is now a Calgary Flame. Do you think he's going to be an impact guy this year?
All he's ever done is score. So
Yeah.
he's been in the NHL for a decade, and even in the lockout-shortened 48-game season, had 20 or more goals. He's never had less than 21 goals. The interesting thing is he going to be on a line with Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan,
right?
or are they going to use him further down the lineup? And that's one of the things that they've been able to do is provide depth and get depth over the offseason. Neal gives them that, but they've got some really interesting options.
The depth scoring guy is really interesting for our Flames.
Yeah,
right?
so the bottom 6 contributed almost nothing offensively last year, and they weren't great defensively, and that's where the roster's been overhauled the most. You would think back to when Pittsburgh won the first of those back-to-back cups. They had the HBK line, which was Hagelin, Bonino, and Kessel. Phil Kessel's on the third line. Now, he's better than some wingers in the top 6, but it made them impossible to match up against. And so if you see James Neal playing lower down the lineup, they're just spreading talent out, making it tough for teams to play against.
It's not a slight, that's for sure.
No. How about Dubé? He had a great preseason, right? What do you guys think of him?
Looks like
This
he's
is a
on
great
the team.
young
right?
talent. Yeah, I mean, this is a kid that for the last few years, anyone who's watched him at lower levels or at World Juniors or represent his country, which he's done at a bunch of events, heady player. So I think his ability to find a role, his flexibility to play all 3 forward positions, he's an asset for this team moving forward.
And not just one of the 12 or 13 best forwards so far through the preseason, like one of the 9 best. For me, he's in their top 9 right now.
Yeah.
He's flexible, he's fast, he plays with pace, he can finish, and he's really smart. And he can, as Rai said, he's versatile. Can he play center? Absolutely. Do they need somebody down the middle right now? No, you can flex him to the wing, and he's just as effective on the wing. Looks like he's on the team.
Could be a special teams guy as well.
Sure.
Really skilled.
Pinder and Steinberg, 2 to 6, Monday to Fridays.
Yeah.
You said you're doing most of the games either from the Dome or from Shanks. What can we expect if we tune in?
Well, on Wednesday.
And when am I going to be on the show?
If you're up past 2 p.m., you can come on anytime.
Isn't that nap time?
Wednesday at Shanks, Saturday at the Dome.
Yeah.
And listen to 2 idiots on the radio.
Listen, we take you right to play-by-play. So hopefully a few laughs and a tidbit you can take to the water cooler.
There you go. Good stuff. Great to see you guys. And we're going to chat with you guys throughout the season.
Awesome.
We want you guys to come back.
do
Two
it.
good-looking, sharp-dressed guys. We got to get them on the show. non-faces for radio, sitting on the other couch right now. 7:58, we have news, traffic, and Andy has the details on the snow. That's next.